everybody, Sean Halley here, coming to you from Fender Studios. Today I am very excited to introduce you to the brand new American Ultra Telecaster. So the Ultra Series instruments are the highest level of guitars and basses to come off of the Fender production line, and it gives Fender a chance to stretch out a little bit, meaning that these guitars feature a bunch of modern enhancements that will delight the discerning guitar player, whether you are primarily using them in the studio or live on stage. So before we get into the guitar proper, I should probably show you what I'm using to make noise. So I've got a 68 Custom Deluxe reverb behind me and a pile of Fender pedals on the floor, which I have not experienced before a couple weeks ago. And I have to say, they're gonna have to check my pockets on the way out of here because there's some stuff that is really killer here. So before I turn any pedals on though, let's just hear what the guitar sounds like clean. Okay, so let's move on to the actual guitar. So we'll start with the neck. It is definitely one of the things that makes the Ultra Series guitars really playable. It's been reimagined. It's not a vintage kind of a shape. It's actually quite modern. They're calling it a modern D, which means that it's a little bit more shallow here, but wider and has sort of sloped shoulders. The actual fingerboards on all these guitars are rolled, much more so than they would traditionally do for new guitars. So it feels very comfortable right out of the case to play. It comes with either a maple or a rosewood fretboard. This is obviously rosewood. Comes with medium jumbo frets, and then you also have, all the instruments have a compound radius. And what that basically means is that down here, it's about a 10, so it's still a little bit curved and it feels very comfortable to play chords. But up here, it's a 14, and it's quite flat. So when you're doing bends and things like that, the fingerboard doesn't get in the way. So it's a really nice mixture and a modern mixture of comfortable here and very shreddy up here if you have the ability to play really great super chops music, which I don't. But anyway, if you do, it'd be great. So if we flip it over, you can see that it has this lovely ultra satin finish on it. So it's very smooth, completely non-sticky. So its job is to protect the wood, but it won't feel like there's much there, which is nice. And it has this great vintage tint to it. And I sort of have this insane love of skunk stripes, so I love seeing this. This is actually nice. And speaking of things that I love, all of the Ultra Series instruments come with locking tuners. And for me personally, I put locking tuners on every guitar that I plan on using in the studio or live because tuning stability is really important to me, even if it's a fixed bridge guitar like this. So I'm very pleased to see that they put locking tuners on all the instruments in the Ultra Series. So moving on to the body, you can tell that it is a bound Telecaster. There's nothing quite like a beautiful bound Telecaster. But one of the things that really moves the Ultra Series away from a traditional vintage instrument is this wonderful contour on the back that it has here. And all the instruments in the family share that contour. So you have this sloping neck joint, which sort of seems to bend and blend into the neck. And it's actually nice because it's not as deep this way. So it makes it easier to access the upper frets when you combine it with this contour here. So as opposed to a vintage sort of a joint, this is way easy to play up high. Now, on the front, you can see that this is a beautiful Texas tea, two-tone color that looks amazing depending on the way the light hits it. It has a sparkle and a flake in it, which is great. There are multiple finishes available for the guitars. So they have these kinds of solid finishes with flakes, and they also have transparent finishes. So there are two different kinds of body woods. There's alder and ash. And the finish that you choose also determines which one of the pickguard options that are available as well. So the guitars are put together and pieced together in such a way that all of these aesthetic choices work together and create a beautiful looking guitar. All right, so let's talk about the actual hardware that helps you make noise. So I'm talking, of course, about the pickups and the bridge and the control stuff. I think it's probably fairly obvious to people. This is a Telecaster. It looks like it's got 2 pickups and a 3-way switch and a couple pots, but there's some extra mojo going on underneath the surface that all of the Ultra Series instruments share. So starting with that, these are the newest generation of Fender noiseless pickups. So they have wonderful single coil quality, but they don't have any of the annoying 60-cycle hum that we all try so hard to get rid of, especially when we're using distortion pedals and stuff. There is a 3-way switch, but there's some mojo in the volume pot. So all of the instruments in the Ultra Series, guitars-wise, have an S1 switch hidden in the volume pot, which I think is really neat because you don't have to muddy up the look of the control plate with a bunch of little mini dip switches just to get some more functionality. So when you push it in, you can see that the switch is obviously pushed in. You can see it, but it's pretty much invisible when it's not. And this basically controls series and parallel when you're in the middle. So I'll show you how that works in a second. Moving on to the bridge, there's a long-standing tradition in the guitar community that brass saddles sound the best on tellies, and that's actually what they've done here. So even though these look like they might be stainless steel or steel, they're actually chrome-plated brass. So you get the benefit of the sonic immediacy and the sustain from brass saddles, but it looks nice and matches the rest of the guitar aesthetically. So let's hear what it sounds like when I play a riff and switch between series and parallel using the S1 switch. So neck, middle, switch, bridge. So the American Ultra Telecaster, a modern instrument with a bunch of enhancements that are designed to delight a discerning guitar player, whether you use it in the studio or on stage. So if you need more information about this guitar or anything else that might be in the Ultra line, head on up to fender.com, and you can find all that information there. My name is Sean Halley. I hope I will see you again soon. Cheers.